what is the biggest problem right now with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers sitting at 3-3 and tied for first place in the division lead with the Falcons? They're tied
With
with
the
the Falcons.
Falcons, the Dirty Birds.
Hey, they doing their thing, man.
Yeah, I
I know, can't give them props. Anyway, so Sam, we already touched bases on it a little bit about what the Bucks' biggest problem was. So I figured I'd start out. We could ask our guests first and see, get their insight on it. Then we can retouch bases on it, and then we can, probably then we can all get into it because I already know we're gonna have a debacle
right.
on our hand
Oh
here.
yeah, you already know.
So that being said, Mr. Blake, I will ask you, sir, what is the Bucks' biggest problem right now?
So back when they won the Super Bowl back in 2021, one of their biggest reasons why they won the Super Bowl is how dominant their offensive line was. And health was a big factor as well into that. The offensive line hasn't been the same this year due to the large part of the sole role with Luke Goldeckley. Is that what his name is? Your center or your
Right.
left guard? Yeah, and then Robert Haynes has been a massive difference. It shows as the Bucks had with the rushing statistics in week 6 against the Steelers, they had 26 attempts for 75 yards rushing and then 2.9 yards per carry.
It's abysmal.
Which is awful. Yeah, which is freaking
Abysmal.
awful.
And whether you're Tom Brady or not, with not having a running game in your back pocket will severely limit your chances of getting that ball moved down the field.
Well put. What about you, Pops? How you want to touch on that? Biggest problem
Well,
for him?
something that I did overlook was that offensive line. And no matter how great the quarterback is, you're going to need time to throw the ball. But like I said, like I told Sam, me and Sam go round and around on this, all the time. The last 2 seasons, the last 2 years, this time of year, what was the Buccaneers record? They weren't that great. They didn't start off that great.
Yeah, it's pretty
Sam,
close.
And Sam, you admit yourself, you was in a panic. And what I tell you, don't worry. Don't worry. If I'm a Buccaneers fan, you know what I'm doing? I'm sitting back, I'm doing this. Don't worry. They'll get it together. I think they'll get it together. I actually do. But they got to, Blake said, that offensive line. And your defense. You can't continue to give up third downs and do these Detroit Lions stupid ass defensive penalties. You cannot do it. You cannot do it. You can't do it. The last games, Sam, admittedly so, Brady didn't bring his best. No, he did not. He did not. The greatest players every game do not bring their best. That's just the way it is. That's the way it is. I know you have a certain, you feel a certain type of way about Tom Brady, but hey, it is what it is. A lot of times we get caught up thinking with our hearts instead of facing reality. Example, a great player. The one player that I dislike, NFL player, probably the most ever, was Brett Favre.
Right.
I couldn't stand him. But you know something? I have to put the great tag on him because he was a great quarterback. Didn't like Michael Jordan. I'm a disgruntled bad boy Pistons fan. Didn't like Michael Jordan. None of us did. You got to put that great title on him. Don't like LeBron James. Same thing. You got to put that great title on him. And Brady's great, but great players are not going to play great all the time. So like I said,
Especially
I'm not being funny when I
45.
say this. If I'm a Bucs fan, I'm a little concerned. But do you think they're going to lose out in that division to Atlanta? Mister, I lost a 25-point lead in the Super Bowl. Come on. Come on. Are you serious? Come on. Atlanta
3-3, tied for first place in that division still,
Exactly.
despite their woes. Go ahead, Sam.
That division is tight. That division is tight.
Well, I appreciate all you guys' facts and opinions and stuff like that. But I am speaking with my heart, but I'm speaking with my head as well. The coach, I believe, is the biggest reason. I won't say Brady, but I believe the coach is the biggest reason because Todd Bowles cannot run an offense to save his life. He does some things well, but like I said, it's not consistent. It's not flowing, bro. Like it's not flowing at all. 12 points against Green Bay, freaking 18 points against the Steelers. That's not enough. That's not enough, man. We got to pick up those pieces or whatever. Now we're missing Antonio Brown. We're missing Gronkowski. We're missing those key players. We're missing Rojo. We're missing those key players, that can really get that stuff moving or whatever. But the offensive line, man, is really just dead in the water right now. So, like I said, I took a little consideration into that stuff or whatever because I've heard different theories and stuff like that or whatever. I still feel like Brady is not at his best right now, which is okay.
That's fair.
But
that's definitely fair.
But at the same time, I just feel like if we score, he has 8 touchdowns right now. If you scored 10 touchdowns, we will be 5-1. If we score one more touchdown against Green Bay, or even a field goal, or even, you know what I'm saying? Like, but that came from the center not snapping that ball or whatever for the 2-point conversion. But if we would have had that one touchdown right there, that would have been a win. We score one more touchdown, or even drive or whatever to kick the field goal against the Steelers, that would have been a win. I hate losing games like that or whatever that we have the chance to win because that's what Brady is known to do. You feel me? Like he's still been super accurate or whatever, but I just don't think he's throwing that deep ball and stuff like that. And he doesn't have the time, like Jordan was saying or whatever too. Like he's getting crushed. He's getting hit 6, 7, 8 times a game now, man. It's way too much. Joe Burrow type numbers, but like I say, man, he just gotta have that dog, man. I just don't see the dog in him right now. I think that's my biggest problem with Brady. I don't really see the dog in him, but I know he got it, man, and all this stuff going on or whatever. But I just don't see it.
That's fair. I appreciate and I applaud you for saying that because when we started this, I thought for sure maybe it was my bad, my mistake, my misunderstanding. Because I thought when we debated that, I think we just kind of got overheated and got into it too much our last show because I was under the impression you were stating that Brady was the biggest problem,
right?
But you weren't saying that. Now you're saying that he is just a part of the problem, right? Correct?
Right. Small part, but
right.
Like I said, so many pieces. It's so many pieces in it. It's so many pieces in it,
And I could fuck with you on that, bro. I thought you were insinuating he was the biggest problem, but anyway, so I'll just state a couple of my points. I mean, y'all pretty much hit it on the head, everybody. But right now, the Bucs are averaging 67.5 rushing yards per game. They only have 405 rushing yards on the season. That is the worst in the NFL right now, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And the starting center, y'all lost Ryan Jensen before game 1 of the regular season.
Right.
He's an all-pro center. He's a top center in this league. That's a huge fucking deal, man.
Huge.
I don't even know if he's going to come back this year or whatever. So we'll see how that happens. But between the offensive line and their injuries and, your wide receivers have been having injuries too. Julio's going to stay inactive till playoffs. I remember one game y'all had Brashad Perriman and called up whoever else, with receivers
Cole
like that,
Beasley.
man.
We called up Cole Beasley.
Mm-hmm. Yep, sure did.
Yep. With receivers like that, I just can't expect no steady results. You're going to lose some games if the health isn't there. Brady doesn't trust his offensive line right now because he's getting hit all the time. That's why he's rushing his throws and he's missing a lot of the easy throws, missing it low, missing it high.
Right.
He's never really had to worry about shit like that before. And obviously when you can't run the ball like that, there's no imminent threat in the run game. So the defense can play the pass. I mean, every single down.
Right.
So, and then when he chewed out the offensive line, he got heat for that or whatever, but he chewed out the offensive line because they weren't doing their job, because that's what he's done for 18 years. Then he gets criticized for it and when they lose. And meanwhile, the defense got smoked by Trubisky, giving up 3rd and 11, 3rd and 7, you have an elite defense. We've talked about this many times, but that's inexcusable. That cannot happen. Shouldn't have happened. No. It shouldn't happen to a lot of quarterbacks, let alone Mitch Trubisky. Okay. great quarterbacks are going to beat defenses. I get that. Mitch Trubisky is not a great quarterback. He's
Not at all.
barely a good backup.
Probably lower end.
So
It shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen to that defense.
Right.
no,
It shouldn't
that's
happen to
definitely
that defense.
Definitely.
and,
But I think
and that's
I think it's also a morale thing too. Like I say, just man, it's just a lot of stuff going on right now. Whatever. We'll get all that stuff together going into week 8, week 9. You know, we play the Panthers this week or whatever. It should be an easy win, but you never know. Like I said, we just got to get all that stuff together. We got to get healthy, man. Like that's the biggest issue, and the head coach.
yeah. And then like when he's chewing out them offensive linemen and shit, bro, like he knows what it takes to win, bro. It's nothing that, I just feel like he got a bad rap for that. That's why they brought him in. He knows what it takes to win. That's what he does. He's gonna chew you out if you ain't doing your fucking job. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's
He's
what he's
supposed to.
gonna do.
Yeah,
And
he's
dude,
supposed to.
and not to throw shade like on your team, bro, because dude, I'm a Lions fan. Who am I to talk about any other NFL franchise? I'm not throwing shade when I say this, all right? But dude, the Bucs were nothing before Brady arrived in 2020. They weren't relevant for years, bro. They'd only since y'all won that Super Bowl in 2002, y'all only made the playoffs twice in
Right.
05 and 07.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
And you only had what I'm looking at here. Y'all made the playoffs twice. The Lions have made the playoffs 3 times in that amount of time.
Right.
I mean,
Mhm,
what does
mhm.
that tell you? You know
Right,
what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like that's
But
bad.
the same things was applying. No running game,
5
no running
yeah,
game, no freaking defensive. They take the top off the defense, whatever, because we didn't have great safeties, didn't have great corners. So like I say, it's kind of the same way now with the corners and stuff, or whatever. But I feel like they got it together, but they don't. We need to find a real defensive leader, like in the secondary. That we need to, because Dean is good, and then Murphy Bunting just got hurt as well. Whatever, he's one of our top corners and stuff as well. And then on the offensive side, like he doesn't have that person or whatever he can just go to or whatever when he's in trouble. Like he had Gronk back in the day. That was his man. That's a
Yeah.
big
that's the
loss for
go-to.
us
Yeah.
as well.
Big
For
loss.
real. That's the
Mhm.
dump off. That's a dump off, man. And he's gonna get
Yep.
12, 13, 14 yards still. For
Mhm.
real. So like I say, they say he might come back, man. They say he might come back, but we don't know.
Yeah, who knows if Brady calls out for the favor, he might. But
Right.
yeah, dude, that's all I was saying on it is they were struggling. They was irrelevant for a while before he got there. I mean, 5 winning seasons in 20 years. That's some Detroit Lions shit. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
but like you said, we'll see what they could do about it. I think we're all pretty much Blake, what do they got to do? First thing, if you're head coach right now, what's the first move you're making to fix this?
The head coach. I think if I'm the GM, the head coach got to go.
Damn, you gonna get rid of him already?
Gotta go. Keeps on rushing Chris Godwin back. Like, come on now.
Right.
Come on.
I hate that too.
Brady,
I definitely hate that
Brady
too.
needs some targets over there. You got nobody at receivers. Mike Evans. He
Mike
needs some-
Evans and Godwin, they both
Yeah.
solid. They both solid, I feel like.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Gotta go though.
Gotta go. What about you, Pops? Would you get rid of him after
I,
one season? All right.
I wouldn't get rid of him. They need Sam hit it on the head. I mean, Bowles is not he's a defensive coach.
He's the defensive
Right.
savage.
He's a defensive coach. He's a defensive savage. And like I said, I watched Tampa Bay and I kind of like frown up at some of the play calling. I'm like,
Right.
okay.
Trash.
What is
play.
this? Yeah. I'm like, whoa, what is this? What are you doing? And everybody coming off the field pissed off. I'm like, well, who's calling these plays? Who is this offensive coordinator?
Byron
Let's do a
Leftwich.
drive-by. Who?
Byron Leftwich.
He knows football better than that.
Right.
I
believe-
For sure.
No, serious.
For
He knows
real.
football better than that.
Right.
Man, I don't know if Bowles has his input on the offense. If he does, go over to the defensive side. Let Leftwich handle this. Go over there.
Let BA come back down because he's in the front office now. Let BA come back down, Bruce Arians, and get back in the play calling. No risk it, no biscuit, man. That man had 40 touchdowns one year, 42 touchdowns the next year with Bruce Arians. Now this man got like 8 touchdowns, man. That is a big fucking decline. For real, like it's very noticeable. everybody's
Ow.
talking about this stuff right now. You know,
Yeah, they are. But I tell you this too. As bad as you think the Bucs are looking right now, as much as you think they're struggling right now, they're in first place.
right?
I don't care if they tied or not. They're
And
in
it's
first
a-
place.
And it's a lot of
That's-
people struggling.
that's-
It's a lot of people struggling right now, like
It
the Green
is.
Exactly.
Bays and stuff
It
like
is.
that. The
Dude.
Rams.
Exactly. That's
Bro,
why.
it's a
That's
lot.
why.
All this stuff is flip flop now, man, for real.
Right.
So you got the
That's why I
Giants.
tell
You got the Giants at 5-1 or whatever, man. Who would have ever thought that? You know.
And that's why I said. That's why. If I'm a Bucs fan, if I were you, Sam, I'm sitting back. I'm just waiting on the good rain to fall, just like the last 2 years.
Right.
You know.
Definitely.
Yeah, you got the 49ers are 3-3, the Rams are 3-3, the Buccaneers are 3-3, the Packers are 3-3. All those teams are going to the playoffs.
Right.
And you got the
Mhm.
and you got the Jets 4-2.
Right.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
That's the
flip
crazy.
flop.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's good shit
And
though,
I-
man. I like seeing different shit in football.